and now that the countdown to congestion pricing is paused indefinitely following Governor Kathy Hochul's surprise announcement yesterday, the ball is in the MTA's court. The agency has to vote on where exactly to go from here.
Congestion pricing was supposed to go into effect on June 30th, which is also the deadline to get the city budget passed. So there's a lot to talk about this morning with New York City Councilwoman Gale Brewer, who is joining us right now here on the couch. So good morning to you. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Good morning.
So you represent the Upper West Side, where a lot of folks who live there were concerned about how congestion pricing was going to affect traffic in that neighborhood and also parking. So then the quick about face yesterday, what was your reaction to that and what have your constituents been saying?
Well, we were surprised, no question. And as the city council member, twice I voted for congestion pricing because I want to support the MTA. However, I thought there should be more exemptions, a discussion on yellow cabs. I would have exempted them. My constituents who have a car don't like congestion pricing. And I think that there could be more discussion. An example would be you live on 61st Street and your garage is on 57th Street.
Yeah.
Also, the credit is that the Department of Transportation, I don't know what's going to happen now, is mandated under the bill to do a study of the traffic issues once it goes into effect. If it goes into effect, people wanted, in some cases, to have the ability to buy a sticker so that they would have a registration to be able to park in the area.
So you're okay with what the governor did yesterday, saying we're pausing it indefinitely?
Well, I think that it's happening, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not, I voted for it. I want to be clear. I support the concept of congestion pricing because I want the MTA to get funding. If there's another way to get funding, fine.
But
they need funding.
Because it's paused indefinitely.
It's not clear what's going to happen,
right,
to be honest with you.
She's saying indefinitely.
Right.
She said it yesterday. So where does the money come from right now, in your view, to fund the MTA? Now, I know it's a state issue, but where do you see the money coming from?
I don't know where the, you have to pull a rabbit out of the hat maybe to find the funding on the state level. I know the city does not have this money. That I know.
But you still feel that there are benefits?
There are benefits to congestion pricing, and there are benefits to having a discussion for other exemptions or other funding. This is kind of what you would call uncharted territory.
Yeah, because otherwise we really can't afford to, like the Second Avenue upgrades.
We need the money.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. All the people who are disabled have all been promised elevators.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends who need them. There are too many issues that need to be addressed. We need the money. $1 billion to access $15 billion, extremely needed.
We're going to talk to the congressional members in the 8 o'clock hour and then some state assembly members on Picks and Politics this weekend to figure out that whole funding issue. But speaking of money and something that you are in control of, let's talk about the budget right now. Big topic was libraries and schools. Now, the funding to education that has been restored by the mayor just this past week. So that's great news.
Great news, but the city council pushed them. I just want to be clear.
Yeah. Yes, and that's the back and forth right now. This is the dance you all are doing to get the final budget. So your thoughts on that education budget, and then where do you go for the libraries?
Well, it's good for the education. We're pleased because it means it keeps the schools whole, harmless. In other words, they don't lose, if they lose students, they don't lose funding. Libraries, we will restore, I believe. That'll be a back and forth. Culturals, there's a long list. It's not just libraries. Composting, there's a long list that we hope to restore. And at the same time, you have to go back and forth. I believe we'll pass the budget on time.
When do you expect it? When will you finalize these final revisions?
We don't know. I mean, I can tell you that it's in the mayor's interest and the city council's interest get it done by the appointed time, which is the end of June.
Big thing happening today is the voting on the advise and consent bill. And for those New Yorkers who may not know what that is, it would expand the city council's power to approve appointees for commissioners that the mayor makes. The mayor told me on Picks and Politics, I don't like this. I don't tell the city council what to do in terms of chairs. They shouldn't tell me what to do about his commissioners. How do you see this bill moving forward?
I think it will pass. I will say that I spoke to Chicago and Los Angeles. They've been doing it for years and had no problems. 99% of what the mayors in those cities recommend get passed. Sometimes they find some issues that have to be ironed out. In this particular case, we've already done like 35 of his appointments. We already do the Department of Investigation. We do the Landmarks Commissioner. And as you know, we're going to do the Corporation Council. And I think having 20, it's only 20 out of 80. And I will say most of his commissioners are excellent. So if he was to put them forward, they would be supported, I believe. But it's good for transparency, and it's good for the public to know who the commissioner is. Otherwise, they really don't know. To have a discussion at a hearing and then it get passed by the city council.
But then, just last month, the mayor created the Charter Review Commission. So doesn't that kind of put a wrench in things?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I have been around for a long time, so I've seen many charter revision commissions. In fact, I had a bill that passed one years ago. Yes, it would put a wrench if the mayor puts forward a different proposal. Then this particular one cannot go forward now, but it could go forward in the future. It's a long-term solution, I think, to good government.
Two things. If it passes, it still has to be voted on a ballot by the public, right?
Correct.
But if the way you're putting it forward.
Correct. It has to pass the city council,
Right.
and then it would have to go on a ballot. But if the Charter Revision Commission could
Changes it.
preempt it, so to speak.
And
yes.
then whatever they come up with could be put on the ballot instead.
Correct.
You said, I was listening to you carefully, you said that you like most of the commissioners. Where do you stand on Corporation Council right now and the possibility that it might be Randy Mastro?
Well, you should know, interestingly, that was my appointment to the Charter Revision Commission who made that change, added Corporation Council. I want to wait to see. I like Randy Mastro personally. Let's see what happens in terms of the mayor has to nominate him. So far, he hasn't. And then he would go before the city council.
Okay.
All right. Before we let you go, we wanted to let you weigh in on the situation with the fruit vendor that was arrested in Lower Manhattan earlier, last month, actually. Just wondering how you feel about unlicensed fruit vendors and how it should be handled.
I'm very supportive of the vendors in the sense that they are trying to make a living. I do feel there are just not enough licenses for vendors and not enough oversight over vendors. There's a lot of vending issues that need to be addressed. I support vendors. They work so hard, but they have to stay where it is legal, and they have to follow the rules, and we need more licenses. But if you have more licenses, then you sure have to have the enforcement that goes with it. So it's a combination. Vending needs a lot of work.
All right.
But I don't believe in arresting vendors, to answer your question. I think that you could work with them and figure out something else to answer your question.
Councilwoman Gale Brewer, you got a lot going on in the council between what you have today and the budget. We'll be watching every step of the way, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.